This video focuses on very early addition using my favourite resource, pasta. Before we can get children to add, we need to check that they can count reliably. And to get children to do this, I get them to line objects up in a nice neat row and count them one by one, touching each object as they go. And then I get them to repeat the process 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, and then they're certain that there are 11. They can even write it down so they do not forget. It's a good opportunity here to introduce the word altogether. When we're talking about a set of objects, we need to use the word altogether. That is a star word. Once children are proficient with that, we can then introduce the idea of counting sets of objects, starting off with 2 sets of objects. So we've got 2 piles of pasta here. We are going to, again, get them to line up the pasta. This is just a good habit to get into. I'm going to circle that as a set, count it twice, and we've got 4 in that set, and then we're going to do the same with the other side. And the whole time just reminding children to take their time. They will naturally get quicker at this process the more they do it. So again, lining up here, counting 4 and 4, we've got 8. So we've got 4 on one side and 8 on the other side. So we've got our 2 parts there, we've got 4 and 8, but really, ultimately, we want to find out what that is all together. So we're going to get children to think about these becoming 1. So 4 and 8, then bringing in our star word of altogether. Altogether is really important. As they get older, this will occur in word problems. It ends up being a bit of a trigger word for them to know which operation to use. So we're just going to look at that. So we've got 4 on one side, we've got 8 on the other. Okay, now physically get children to bring them together to create one new set, and then get them to count them again. So we've got our 2 separate sets, we're bringing them together, lining them up and counting them all together, touching them twice. We can deduce from that we have got 12 all together. Now children can make progress here in terms of how they're counting. They could count one by one, but if they know they've got 8 there, they could count on. We've got 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm just going to show you a game that you can play with your children. So I've rolled 2 numbers. I've got 3 here in this set. I've got 4 here in this set. And then children can count those separately just to double check, and then they can push them all together. Now turning this into more of a game just makes it seem even more appealing for children. It's really, really basic. So I've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And it just means that you've got different outcomes each time. So rolling the dice, and it just feels more like a game for children. This is something that children could play with an older sibling. An older sibling could teach a younger sibling. Again, pushing those together. Really important every single time. Now in this next part, I'm just going to show you how you can simply take this to the next level. So if we add in the word and equals 5, we've actually turned this into a number sentence or an equation. I'm just going to show you the link between and the mathematical symbol of add. If you get children used to using the word and, they can easily make that link to add and. So we've got 4 add 6 is equal to. This would be the next step, looking at that number sentence. I'm just going to show you here, you don't always have pasta with you or resources. The next step would be drawing a pictorial representation. And here I've chosen to draw dots. They're really simple to draw, they look the same every time. So this would be the next stage. Now after this, if your child is finding this pretty straightforward, you can challenge them even further by making them think of a number story or a word problem, something they'll have to contend with when they're older. If you give them an equation, can they create a number story? So they might say there are 4 apples, and they might say that there are 4 apples in a bowl. Somebody comes along and puts another 6 apples in a bowl, and then they might say that there are 10 altogether. Getting children to put a story to a number equation is a really useful activity. So I'm just going to outline here the stages that you should go through. Firstly, check your child can count reliably. Then bring in the dice, turn it into a game. With the dice, you know that you're going to be getting small values to add each time. Bring in that word all together. That is essential. Okay, number 3, the next stage we're going to do. Introduce and. Get children writing like mathematicians. Add and. They're really, really closely linked. Then the next stage, get children to carry out jottings. That's drawing their own dots, writing their own stories. So hopefully these stages will help you support your child at home. Thank you very much for watching.